This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, George Stephanopoulos.
And we are breaking in now with news of a police shooting, another police shooting, this time in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In total, shortly after 9 a.m. Baton Rouge time this morning, about a mile from the police station. Early reports are that at least 2 police may have been killed, 4 shot. I want to go straight to the mayor of Baton Rouge, Kip Holden, who's joining us now by phone. Mr. Mayor, what can you tell us about what's happened near that police station this morning?
Well, it was a situation whereby our officers responded to shots being fired. And when those officers responded, apparently the gunman started shooting at the officers themselves. We have a report now that there are 2 dead. There are others who are injured to some degree, serious, and to maybe some minor injuries. They have been taken to a local hospital, but everybody is still active and fluid scene right now. So we're trying to put all of the pieces together, put all of the investigative work together, and try to make sense out of what happened in Baton Rouge this morning.
So, Mr. Mayor, 2 police officers dead, according to your information. Do you know how many have been injured, and what can you tell us about how many suspects there are and whether or not they've been contained?
Well, I can't tell you exactly how many have been injured. There are several. That's the information that I'm getting, but they haven't made a body count on the injured. I can tell you this is that when you have police officers responding from 2 agencies, that becomes the major issue that they're focusing on right now. So those departments will pretty much send as many officers as they can. Everything else is not as high a priority. And so therefore there are a lot of officers from both agencies, including the state police, who are on the scene now and also at the hospital to make sure they can get their information correct and then make a determination as to how we need to proceed. So
this is still an active situation? The suspects are still on the loose?
No, sir, I'm not saying they're on the loose. Active means that the crime scene is a very active area because they're trying to gather all of their evidence in order to proceed as to what will happen in this, or get to know who were the players in this, what was the motive for what they did, how many officers are there. They're going to have to get statements from those officers who are surviving and say, tell me what happened when you got there, tell me what you saw. It's going to be a thorough examination of all of the facts from all sides.
So you don't have any good information right now on the suspects and whether or not they've been neutralized or whether or not they're still on the loose, but you can say that at least 2 police officers have been killed. Very tough situation, Mr. Mayor. We are thinking of you right now. We'll let you go back to that work right now. I want to bring in Pierre Thomas, our senior justice correspondent, who's also on the phone. Pierre, this comes at a time when we know that police have been on guard ever since those shootings, one in Baton Rouge of Alton Sterling back on July 5th, also a follow-on situation in Minneapolis.
Yes, George, and this is a year where officer-related shooting deaths are up 44%. And because of what happened in Baton Rouge just a few weeks ago, one of the things they will have to look at is, were these officers targeted specifically? It sounds like they were responding to some kind of incident, but it's clear that the suspects started shooting at them, and it sounds like they were probably, uniformed officers. So it's a very dangerous situation. We're trying to gather more information, but right now it's a dangerous time for law enforcement.
And John Cohn, former police officer, former member of the National Counterterrorism Center as well. John, we know this comes at a time when there have been some militant groups calling for purges or rages against the police in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, that's right, George. Just last week, the FBI warned law enforcement across the country for calls posted on social media by militant groups to purge or rage against police, particularly police in the area of Baton Rouge and in New Orleans. Baton Rouge officials just uncovered a plot last week that we had hoped was thwarted. But, it's a dangerous time for police, in part because of these threats, in part because people are more willing to resist police when they have encounters, in part because there is a growing false narrative around this country that is being glommed onto by people that all police are racist, all police abuse other people of color, and that just simply isn't true.
Thank you, John. And we're, of course, reporting here from Cleveland, where police are prepared for possible violence at this convention as well. Again, to sum up, there is some kind of an active situation. Police have been shot in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At least 2 police have been killed, according to the mayor. Several injured. We're going to stay on top of this. We'll have full reports all day on abcnews.com. A wrap up tonight on World News. For now, I'm George Stephanopoulos in Cleveland. Back to our regular programming.
This has been a special report from ABC News.